Welcome back, everybody. It is week 6 of Thank God for Football. Last week was another rough one. We had so many games, so many upsets, so many picks that were not even close. Jay, I'm going to call myself out on that one. Mark calling myself out. We're going to go over that. But last week was a definitely a tumultuous week. Lots of games, lots of great games. Bama, Georgia had a knockdown throwdown, and obviously Bama took one down in Athens last week. So we also had Florida State and Virginia on Friday. That was another really good game that turned out UVA winning in overtimes as well. And then we also had some other big games in the Pac-12. We had Oregon taking on Penn State last week. Oregon also getting the win in overtimes as well. And then we had some more controversial calls in the ACC. Apparently, the refs just don't know what offsides is, apparently, fellas, because we've had 3 straight weeks of it. So we'll see if the ACC can continue their trend of not being able to call offsides correctly for teams that are looking to win football games. So thanks a lot for y'all joining us back again this week. We are excited today. I know you've got a lot to come back with as well, and we're ready to rock and roll.
That's right, Justin. Great week of football ahead. We got Mark down there with our Big Ten, and looking forward to a great week in all of our conferences as we start to get into the bread and butter. Not too long till we start to get our first look at the CFP top 12 teams. So it's time to get rocking and rolling, fellas. And this week we're going to have some fun. We're going to pick some teams that maybe you haven't heard of and some that you heard of, but not for any good reason.
Absolutely. We'd also like to thank our good friends over there at Arden's Burger and Grill also for always giving us the amazing wings, amazing food, and amazing service. So make sure you go see Don and Angie down there in Central South Carolina. They're going to be also helping us out this week, J2, because we're going to kind of be mixing into that season of football and basketball. So we're going to be having some really good fun. You've been at SoCon Media Day. We're going to be at ACC Media Day as well next week. So looking forward to that. But before that, we've got a ton of football. So let's get into what we're going to be talking about this week. Our first part of our show this week, as we always do, we kick it off with our good friends over at the SEC. They are going to be talking about their schedule from last week as well as their schedule this week. Coach's Box is going to be handling that for us good friends of the show. That's going to be brought to us by our good friends over at Pepsi. So if you would like a nice, cold, refreshing cola, make sure you make it a Pepsi. So, guys, let us know what's going on in the
Hello,
SEC.
everybody. This is Chris Miller from the Coach's Box. Call Like We See It podcast, and this is our SEC weekly preview for Thank God for Football Game Day. This preview is all of our preview segments. It's brought to you by Pepsi. Whether you're gearing up for game day, hanging out with friends, or you just need that perfect, refreshing break, nothing hits the spot quite like an ice-cold Pepsi. As you can see, I'm drinking one. It's bold, crisp, always refreshing. Pepsi is the taste that fuels the moment. So crack open a Pepsi anytime that you feel a little bit thirsty. Well, I'm going to tell you what, guys, I'm going to be a little thirsty after this week when we're talking about our SEC teams. A bunch of them, they just all must have got together and said, we're taking this week off. So we've got a bunch of teams that are on bye this week. We've only got a handful of teams in the SEC that are playing this week: Kentucky, Georgia, Florida, Texas, Vanderbilt, Alabama, Oklahoma, Mississippi State, and Texas A&M. That's it. So out of all the 16 teams, that's the only ones that are playing. We could talk about Kent State visiting Oklahoma. I don't really feel like a game that has a 45.5 spread is important enough to talk about. And I would talk, we would talk about Mississippi State going to Texas A&M. I'm not really sold on Mississippi State yet. They're about one game away for me thinking, all right, maybe they're okay. That's going to be a big test for them. They're 14.5 dogs. So the three games that we are going to talk about, and you could probably argue that maybe the Mississippi State A&M game is important. The three we're going to talk about this week, we're going to start out with, and I know you're like, roll your eyes. We're going to talk about Kentucky visiting Georgia. Kentucky comes in 2-2. They're 0-2 in the SEC. Last week, they took a 35-13 loss to South Carolina, who got beat the week before by my MIZ Tigers. And then, of course, Georgia, who also lost last week. They're 3-1 and 1-1 in the SEC. They lost that heartbreaker to Alabama. I can honestly say I really thought that Kirby Smart would have it figured out because Nick Saban's not on the sideline, but it is what it is. So why is this game important? Kentucky, look, I'm not going to say from their standpoint this game's important because it's football and they're stuck in football mediocrity, and it's just something to do before basketball season. I'm pretty sure Mark Stoops will never lose his job because, well, it's not basketball. And the only thing people care about apparently in Kentucky for the University of Kentucky is basketball. So that's one thing. But Georgia, even though they're 20.5-point favorites in this game, Georgia has to bounce back in a big way after that really tough loss to Alabama. And it again, I can't not believe that Kirby Smart cannot beat Alabama. He has the better team, but for some reason, we just don't think that they're going to run the ball ever. So they can't be looking past this, thinking about Auburn. They have to take care of business against Kentucky. Gunnar Stockton has to be able to move the ball down the field. He could not get over 130 passing yards against Alabama. And I know we are talking about two different teams here, but they've got to be able to move the ball. And if they can't throw it, then they need to take advantage of the excellent yards per carry that the running game provides. So I do think Georgia's going to bounce back in a big way, but hey, stranger things has happened because again, this is the SEC. Then we have number 9 Texas. They are 3-1 and first SEC game of the season. They are traveling to Florida, who's 1-3 and 0-1 in the conference. Texas is favored by 6.5, even though this could get really ugly. It's still a tough place to play when you go to the Swamp. I don't care how bad they are. But Texas has to start rolling as their conference play begins. So they're not playing Sam Houston State. They're actually playing an SEC school. So we're going to see what Arch Manning can do. Their offense has to get moving in order for them to be a legitimate contender. They're only 3-1. They've only lost one game to Ohio State, who's pretty good this year. So it's not that big of a deal, but they have to start playing a lot better and putting out some quality wins. Last week they beat Sam Houston State 55-0 because, hey, we're going to take another bye week where we actually play some, clown team. Again, it's going to be very important that Arch and the rest of the Texas offense starts producing against actual legitimate opponents. Now, Florida's not that team, not this year, but they're still an SEC team and they are still tough to beat at home. They did lose last week to Miami 26-7. Billy Napier, his Gators started out ranked in the preseason, and now his job is hanging on by a thread. At Florida, he's 20-22 overall. It's like he's on watch every single day. If they're going to throw breaking news, there could be a chance he's out of a job. DJ Lagway has to play better. He has turned the ball over way too many times, and he has more interceptions than touchdowns on the season, and 61 passing yards against Miami is not going to help change things. So I look for Texas to win. It could be close because it's the Swamp. Our last game is the only ranked game, and you suck College Game Day because you're going to go to this one. But number 16 Vanderbilt, they are undefeated. They are going to Alabama, and they are playing the 10th ranked Crimson Tide. Vandy 5-0, 1-0 in the SEC. Alabama 3-1, 1-0 in the SEC. Alabama is still favored by 10.5 points. They are still a top-tier team. Apparently, Kalen DeBoer can win a big game, and he can coach a little bit. We all know that, but it is a different style. They are coming off of a huge win against Georgia. Vanderbilt, they upset Alabama last year because they didn't see him coming. Apparently, Alabama's looking ahead. This year, they're not going to catch him by surprise, and they have to go to Bryant-Denny. So It's going to be a tough battle. They have to prove that they are not a pretender. They're actually a contender, not just in the SEC, but for the college football playoffs. Ty Simpson had a great game. He threw for 276 and 2 touchdowns and ran for another one against Georgia. We're going to see what Vanderbilt has on that side of the ball. On the offensive side, it's David Pavia. He is leading their team in passing and rushing. He can do everything. So, again, this is a put up or shut up game. We're going to see if they're a pretender or not. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm throwing out some love for my Mizzou Tigers right here because they're still undefeated. Vandy's undefeated. I'm kind of hoping Vandy wins because then that means that Mizzou, hey, they're going to play Alabama. I'm just excited about it. So either way, so there's not as many SEC games this week to watch. There's still going to be some good ones. I feel like this last one here with Vandy, Alabama is going to be better. And I think it's going to be better than the 10.5-point spread. So I look for it to be a little bit closer. Could be wrong. Hell, I'm wrong a lot. Anyway, I'm Chris Miller from the Coach's Box Call. I can see a podcast. This is our weekly SEC preview for Thank God for Football Game Day. We'll see you guys
good
all
friends
again
over
next
at
week.
Coach's Box and our amazing sponsor Pepsi for letting us know what's going on in the Southeastern Conference. Lots of good games coming up this week, as always. Tons of ranked matchups. So thanks a lot for putting that together for us. And then Jay, we've got our good friend Scoob, and he's going to be picking our underdog picks of the week, brought to us by Sitting Pretty Dog Grooming. So if you need your dog grooming needs, go make sure you go see Sitting Pretty Dog Grooming. So we're going to let us and our fans see what we got this week for Scoop. Scoop's got some good picks. So
hello, everybody. It's your old pal Ruffy, giving you my underdog picks of the week. Give me Wake Forest over Virginia Tech.
Met 2 hot dogs.
2 hot dogs.
Yeah, there you go, Jay. We've got a lot of good stuff coming in from Scoop. Thanks for the picks this week. Brought to us by Sitting Pretty Dog Grooming. So as we mentioned before, make sure you get all of your dog grooming needs at Sitting Pretty Dog Grooming. So thanks again, Scoop, for that. And then Jay, you were taking a deep dive this week into the Southern Conference. So that segment this week's going to be brought to us by Beef and Ribs. So Jay, we're going to let you talk about what's going on in the SoCon from last week and from this week. So thanks a lot, Jay, for your input on that.
Hello, everybody. This is Jay with your Beef and Rib Southern Conference news and notes for this week. Just wanted to say thank you to Beef and Rib, Angie and Donnie down there in Westminster, South Carolina. Thank you for sponsoring this segment here on TGFF Game Day. Of course, let's get into what's going on this week in the Southern Conference. We got UTC traveling to VMI. VMI, a surprise team this year, is not playing dead as a lot of people think they would. It was picked to finish last, but they are actually making their way up and playing some pretty good ball. I tell you what, give me VMI in an upset over UTC this week. That's right, VMI over UTC. I wouldn't have said that at the first of the year, but VMI has proven they are a team to be reckoned with. Western Carolina heads to Wofford. Wofford, another team trying to turn their season around. Even though it's still early in the SoCon season, it's going to be a lot. They've got some big teams that they got to play. So in this game right here, give me Western Carolina over Wofford. The next game is a game that I will be at. ETSU travels to Furman, a game also that I had picked ETSU to be the representative of the Southern Conference this year, and they still might have a chance. But I tell you what, Furman is showing that they are a team to be reckoned with. Give me Furman because they are at home over ETSU. And this game is going to be close, folks. This is not going to be a blowout on either side as far as I'm concerned. I'm looking at like a 24-21 ball game. And then finally, our last game of the week will be Samford traveling to Mercer. Mercer has definitely gotten better, and Samford has just struggled this year. A lot of turnover at Samford, so give me Mercer over Samford. So once again, that is VMI over UTC, Western Carolina over Wofford, ETSU loses to Furman, and then we have Mercer beating Samford. This has been your Southern Conference news and notes. Thank you to Beef and Rib. All right, there you go. There's SoCon news and notes for this week, brought to you by Beef and Rib in Westminster, South Carolina. Go down and see Angie. She'll be glad to take care of you. Her and Jill, meat and threes, the best you ever had, and their world famous burgers. Now let's go to the ACC. That's right, the ACC news and notes for this week, brought to you by Clemson Family Wish. Make sure you go to clemsonfamilywish.com and be a part of something special. Helping kids and adults get their sports wishes is what Clemson Family Wish does. Make sure you be a part of our team. Go to clemsonfamilywish.com and you too will be glad you did. Let's go to Justin with our ACC
Yeah, Jay, it's
news and notes.
instead of it being the Atlantic Coast Conference, it's going to be the All Chaos Conference is what I'm calling it now, because every week it's just something crazy and crazy and crazy every week. Last week we had Virginia winning against Florida State, upset City in Charlottesville. We also had the NC State Wolfpack getting absolutely embarrassed at home against Virginia Tech. And then Cal also looking good. So the ACC had a lot of good things going on last week. Tons of really good games, though, coming up this week as well, Jay. And we're going to start with some friends down in your territory. So we've got North Carolina and Clemson this week. I know we're going to have a little bit of fan-friendly and friend of the program talking about that game a little bit later on. So that game is going to be kicking us off at 12 o'clock noon. And that one's going to be in Chapel Hill. So that was going to be our first game that we were going to look at. And then we've also got a really good matchup with Wake Forest and Virginia Tech. That one kicks off at 1 o'clock as well. Wake Forest is making the travel up to Blacksburg this week. We'll see if Virginia Tech, who is now still technically undefeated, they're 1-0. They still have a chance at the ACC title. So let's see if they continue on their track towards Charlotte as well. And then most intriguing game I had this week, Jay, was our Virginia and Louisville game. I think this game is going to be really, really fun. It's going to be in Louisville. And I think the Cavaliers proved last week that they belong. They are 2-0 in the ACC. And Louisville is going to be at home this week at 4-0 and 1-0 in the ACC. So really looking forward to that. That's the spot at the 3:30 time slot. And then we're going to talk more about this game a little bit later on in our show as well when we do our picks, but Miami and Florida State will be playing in Tallahassee. Really good matchup for both teams. Miami comes in 4-0. This will be their ACC opener, and Florida State coming off the loss last week to Virginia. So really looking forward to that, Jay, and looking forward to another great week. All right,
there you had it. This our ACC brought to you by ClemsonFamilyWish.com. Make sure you go and do your donation. They're also going to be having a ball here pretty soon in the end of October. All right, let's get it to our Big Ten news and notes of the week, brought to you by, of course, as my hat will tell you, Cowboy Revolution. Make sure you go by and get your gear, and we're talking about cowboyrevolution.com, and use code GSM, and you will save money. And let's bring it straight to the man, Mr. Big Ten himself. And he's not Santa Claus, folks. That is our guy, Mark.
Yeah, like I said, make sure you guys do go check out cowboyrevolution.com. You get one of the sporty hats like Jay has on right now. But like I said, use that code GSM to get you a big discount. Right now, Big Ten. So right now, I think the Big Ten right now is just a little bit top heavy. We got Ohio State, Oregon are kind of separating themselves. Right now, I still think Penn State does have an outside shot. Of course, that makes their game against Ohio State later on in the season a must win game. But you have a few surprising teams. Also, Nebraska really playing really good football. Washington, they gave Ohio State a good game last week. Fell a little bit short. So like I said, with Big Ten football, I really think this a two-man race right now with Ohio State and Oregon. But stranger things have happened. Penn State, a little bit late to the party last week. This weekend's games are a little bit light. Not a whole lot of really, really big games out there this weekend. So I'm going to start it out with my friends, Penn State against UCLA. Everybody's going to pick Penn State. Penn State's going to come out. They're going to blow this thing out. I'm really going to talk about the spread on this game because the spread I think is light, is 22.5. So, and I think that Penn State's going to come out because now they're going to have to really, really destroy teams to try to get back into the playoff hunt because they don't really have that strong of a schedule left other than Ohio State. So, Penn State's going to clear the point spread with that one fairly easy, I believe. Oh,
Jay,
you going? You
yeah,
got it, Justin?
absolutely. Yeah, I'm taking it right there with UCLA's bad, Mark. So they have not played well. Quarterback play has been awful. Penn State comes out, gets another win this week. So I picked against Franklin last week for the big game, but he's definitely getting the win this week. So give me them.
Yes. And next game, we got Michigan State and Nebraska. Right now, like I said, Matt Rule has Nebraska playing really, really good football.
Yeah, they are.
Dylan Raiola is really coming around. Michigan State is still trying to find their footing. They're improving, but like I said, the spread on that game also is Nebraska and by 11.5. I
Mhm.
would definitely take Nebraska in that one because I think it's going to be a 2 touchdown game at least.
I like the Cornhuskers too. In this one too, Mark. I like the way that Dylan Raiola is playing. I like the way that their offense is rolling too. They're starting to get in some rhythm as well. And I just think that he's a much better college football coach than obviously he was in the NFL. Matt Rule is doing a much better job on this level. I think he fits that culture really well too. He's got really high energy, so he's been talking up good things, and they've been backing it up with their play. So I do like Nebraska this week. I think it might be a little bit closer just because it's Big Ten football. I'm going to take Nebraska by 7 this week.
Okay. Well, the next game is one of the more intriguing games I think as Washington versus Maryland.
Yeah.
Washington did show that they are they're a really really good team. They gave Ohio State a fits last weekend. But Maryland they're also playing pretty good football. I think it's going to be an intriguing game. So I'm going to take Washington to win. However, the spread is 6.5. So I'm gonna I
Mm.
would if I was betting, I take Maryland and the points, but Washington's definitely I think is gonna win the game, but I don't think they cover.
Yeah, Mark, they showed me a lot last week. The Huskies did. I think they really had a really big dog in the fight, pun intended, against Ohio State last week. So I really like the way they're playing, but I'm going to give you the alternate side too. I really like Maryland in the way that they're playing too. Their offense is really executing at a high level right now too. So really tough game for me. It was a really back and forth for me this week, but I'm going to take Maryland in the win this week. So we'll see how that works out next week. So Mark, thanks so much for doing all that again. Thanks for bringing us our Big Ten. As well, make sure that you get your stuff over at Cowboy Revolution. Jay's got his hat and his gear. Get your gear there as well. So once again, we are going to be hitting up the
All
Big Ten.
right,
See how that
folks,
works
and there
out.
you
So
had
thanks
it, the
again.
Big Ten. And now let's go to our guy over at SSN Army, brought to you by TrueVictory.com. Use code FurmanJoust and you will save money. That's right, code FurmanJoust. And you too can have a hat like this. They got stickers, they got gear, you name it. Veteran owned and veteran taken care of. So make sure we reward our veterans, take care of our veterans. Buy TrueVictory.com, our very own veteran company. All right, folks. And now let's go to SSN Army with the AAC.
Thank
News
God
and
for
notes.
football, and thanks for joining. I'm Cuthbert from Sidelines Army. I'm on the beat with the American Conference. Before we get started looking at this week's games, I want to thank our sponsor, True Victory Clothing Apparel. Please go to truevictory.com. I'm going old school. I got the loose leaf paper for the ad. It is what it is, folks. We got our promo code FurmanJoust with a capital F and the capital J. You can get 10% off at checkout. This is a clothing company that was started by veterans and first responders. They've got athletic wear, they've got athleisure wear. This is an American company, high quality clothing. Please check them out. Use our promo code, and thank you to True Victory for sponsoring this portion of Thank God for Football. Now, looking back at week 5, as you all might remember, I did not have any games of the week last week, so we're just going to dive right in. We're going to start with heartbreak. My Army Black Knights falling to the East Carolina Pirates 28-6 on Thursday night at Dowdy Ficklin Field. This was an ugly game for Army. Once again, they spotted the opposition 21 points. First 3 drives of the game for East Carolina, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. The Army defense was able to get settled back in. They were able to force eventually 2 red zone turnovers and a red zone turnover on downs, but unfortunately the damage was already done. The offense just could not click. Army is really struggling right now, specifically because our running back core is very, very banged up. Firsty running back Hayden Reed and Cal running back, fullback Jake Rendina are both out. Reed has been playing a little bit intermittently, but unfortunately without that stable running back core, Army is really having trouble getting their offense in rhythm, and that's really coming back to bite us. We are now 1-3. This is very, very disappointing based off an Army team that I had personally predicted could be in the 9 to 10 win category. Not impossible for us to get back on track. It may sound crazy going 1-3 and thinking we're really, really close to having it all click, but I'm telling you, we are really, really close. Meanwhile, East Carolina, they seem to be doing pretty well. Caton Hauser, he had a fantastic game. Right now, they are only a 2-win team. A 3-win team. They've got wins over FCS Campbell, Coastal Carolina, who does look down this year, and obviously my Black Knights. Moving on from there, Navy beat Rice 21-13. Navy is undefeated, and they have big predictions for this year. This is not a great win for them. With their high-powered Sling T offense that Brian Newberry is running through star quarterback Blake Horvath, I would have expected a little more. Horvath himself had 173 passing, and as a team, the midshipmen put another 283 yards on the ground, but somehow they were only able to come up with 21 points. Rice is very, very improved from last year. That is something we are going to be talking about later on in this segment. But I will say I'm surprised at the margin of victory here. Then again, Navy is still undefeated. They are looking to be very strong. A win is a win, but are they going to be able to exert their will as their schedule gets tougher and we get into conference play? We're just going to have to see. Memphis rolls Florida Atlantic 55-26. Memphis appears to be the absolute class of the American Conference right now. They had a 31 point fourth quarter. Absolutely unbelievable. Greg, how do you pronounce that last name? Greg Desiree. Yeah, let's go with Desiree. He absolutely went off at running back, 19 carries, 204 yards, 3 touchdowns, including a 90-yard dash to the house. Florida Atlantic was able to put up 322 passing. This is a potent passing offense, which I think we all kind of saw coming into this year. But they were only able to put 75 yards on the ground. Ryan Silverfield and what he is doing at Memphis is really kind of redefining what's possible in the G5. He had such an incredible turnover of players this year. He went into the transfer portal, and he's delivering in a way that you would expect a P4 team to do. They are, as I said, the class of the conference as of now. They are 5-0, and they are the team to beat. Tulane beats Tulsa 31-14. Jake Retzlaff had a serviceable game, 17 for 30, 242 yards in the air, but no passing touchdowns. He did have a rushing touchdown. Javen Gordon, running back for Tulane, he went off with 3 touchdowns. Tulsa, much like Rice, is improved from 2024. They were unfortunately not able to capture the magic that they had in Week 4 in Stillwater when they upset Oklahoma State. Trey Lamb still building there. I don't think that Tulsa has improved to the extent that Rice has improved from earlier in the segment, but they are a team that is on the rise despite this loss to the Green Wave. North Texas, they beat up South Alabama 36-22. South Alabama now 0-2 against the American Conference. Tough luck for them. North Texas running back Caleb Hawkins coming off a massive game against my Black Knights 2 weeks ago. He does it again, 16 carries, 140 yards, and 2 touchdowns. North Texas is 5-0. They are hitting their stride. Now, I don't know if they are the juggernaut that their record might indicate, but you can't be upset with 5-0. And Mestamaker at quarterback, he seems to be the surprise of the season within American Conference quarterbacks. So expect some more big things from the Mean Green moving forward. And now let's jump into week 6. Preview for this week's games. Our game of the week, Air Force traveling to Navy for the first leg of the CIC trophy, CIC championship, the Commander-in-Chief's trophy. Now, for those of you who are unaware, the Commander-in-Chief's trophy is a 3-way rivalry trophy between Army, Navy, and Air Force. Each year, each team plays each other, and at the end of all of those games, whoever goes 2-0, they get the trophy. They get the Commander-in-Chief's trophy. If you've never seen this trophy, you need to Google it. It is a massive pedestal, 3 sides with an eagle, a falcon, and of course, that Army mule. And I think it weighs something like 150 pounds. It's a terrific trophy. This is a monumental game. So Air Force, who's only 1-4, they look to be a little shaky, which is a surprise this season. They're going into Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. The rule of thumb that I have for CIC games is that in the best of times, it's a coin flip, and in the worst of times, it is a coin flip. These are the rivalry games for Army, Navy, and Air Force. You can throw the records out the window. Navy is favored by 12.5. I do think Navy is going to pull this one out, which is a bit of a surprise. Air Force was very shaky in 2024. They had a very young team. They did finish the season 4-1 though, or excuse me, 4-0. After a very shaky start, they brought back so many starters. Troy Calhoun, the longtime head coach there in Colorado Springs. Bigger things were expected of them this year. 1-4, not great. But this is the game to watch. Not because of necessarily its playoff implications, but because of the CIC trophy, the rivalry. This is going to be a great game. Make sure to tune in. On Friday, Charlotte travels to USF. Charlotte still struggling to find themselves, still unfortunately defeating themselves in some cases. They only have 1 win against an FCS. USF coming off the bye week. I would expect Byron Brown to come out banging on all cylinders. Alex Golish, he is going to have the Bulls dialed in following the tough, unfortunately big loss to Miami 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, USF got back on track, slapping around South Carolina State. Now they've had a bye week to get rested up, to get prepared. I think USF is just going to steamroll the 49ers on Friday. Now, Tulsa goes into Memphis. This is going to be a very interesting game. Trey Lamb, he's doing great things, but I don't think they are going to be great enough when facing, as I call them, the class of the American, which is the Memphis Tigers. They should be able to get the win fairly easily. FAU is traveling to Rice. This is going to be another really interesting game and one worth watching. This is a big test for Rice. They are so greatly improved from where they were in 2024 and 2023. Formerly the doormat of the American Conference, Rice seems to be planting their flag, as I would say, in the bottom half of the top half. That is to say, they are a mid-level American Conference team, but they are closer to the top than they are to the bottom. I know that doesn't necessarily sound that impressive, but if you have any idea what kind of program and success Rice has had in, let's say, the last decade, this is a huge shift, monumental. So we've got FAU, they're coming into Rice, they've got that potent passing offense that we talk about every week. But if Rice can beat them, and I think they should, I think not just that they could, I think that they should, we are really going to start to see the ranking shift here and some of the dynamics within the American as Rice, they are moving up on the ascendancy. Army travels to UAB. It's hard you can't put it any other way. This is an absolutely must-win game for Army. Army is 1-3. This season has been nothing but a disappointment. We did beat Power 4 Kansas State in Manhattan. That was obviously a big high point. Since then, we've lost to North Texas. We have lost to, I don't even remember who we lost to last week, East Carolina. This is a very, very tough season for us Army fans. We started the season 1-2, losing to FCS Tarleton State. obviously a good ball club. They are number 3 in the FCS, solidly number 3. We were basically one mistake away from winning that game. That didn't pan out. Then we lose to North Texas. We were basically 2 mistakes away from winning that game. That's another heartbreak. And then last week in Greenville, North Carolina, just getting slapped around by East Carolina was really heartbreaking. The Fighting Trent Dilfers out of Birmingham, they are improved from last year, but they are not a really, really good team. Army is favored to win. I'm knocking on wood. I'm rubbing rabbits' feet. I'm crossing my fingers. I'm doing everything I can. Army needs to deliver this week, or truly the season will be lost. Catch me on Black Knight Nation Sunday night. We're going to have a recap of the game. Hopefully it'll be good news. We haven't had a good one in a couple of weeks, not since we beat Kansas State. So fingers crossed, go Army. And then the last game of the week is a very interesting game. We have 2-2 UTSA traveling to Philadelphia to face 2-2 Temple. Now, I had predicted in the beginning of the season, Temple was going to go 2-0 and then 10 straight losses. And that seems to be checking out. They went 2-0 and are now 0-2 since then. However, UTSA does not appear to be the team they were predicted to be. They also started 0-2 with quality losses to Texas A&M and Texas State, tough teams. They have since gone 2-0, beating FCS Incarnate Word and barely squeezing out a victory against Colorado State. I don't want to say that UTSA is a bad team, just that they are not at the level that was predicted preseason. And Jeff Traylor, he's a longtime coach there. He needs to get this win, but Temple, with Evan Simon and Jay Ducker at running back, they could steal one here, and that would really be a monumental shift. We're talking about Rice getting better. We're talking about Tulsa getting better. Even UAB has improved since last year. It appears the American Conference is up across the board, basically. And Temple's right there with them. If they can steal a victory, this could upend the American Conference, the order of things. So this is a really interesting game. I think it might be a fun game to watch. Maybe it gets out of hand early and I'm just, talking out my rear, but I think Temple's got a chance here. And if they can upset UTSA, it would mean that the field's wide open. Basically, once you get out of those top teams in the American Conference, once you get out of Tulane, Memphis, Navy, USF, North Texas, once you get out of those teams, basically everything's wide open in the American. So keep an eye on that. North Texas, Tulane, and East Carolina, they all have buys this week. Nothing to report there. Once again, go to truevictory.com, buy some clothes, use our promo code. Thank God for football. Go Army. Beat UAB.
Thanks so much for that video and our intro for this week from SSN Army. Thanks for taking care of that, letting us know what's going on in the AAC. Next up, though, we're going to be going to our good friend of the program, our SSN New Mexico Lobo reporter, and that segment is going to be brought to us this week by Doobie Energy. Jay's got his gear there. He's got his mug there, so make sure you check out Doobie Energy and get your energy needs from there as well. So let's take that away, SSN Army. SSN New Mexico. Tell us what's going on out in the Mountain West.
It is Adam with the Mountain West portion of the show. And we got a lot of interesting games coming up on the Week 6 schedule, the first weekend in October. We've got a couple of Friday Night Lights games, and we've got some pretty big Saturday games as well. We'll get to those here in just a little bit. Time to look back at what happened in last week's contest. Boise State at home took care of Appalachian State by a final of 47-14. The Broncos are now 3-1 on the season. Speaking of being 3-1 on the season, the New Mexico Lobos took care of New Mexico State by a final of 38-20. As, like I said, they pushed their record to 3-1, halfway to bowl eligibility, something I don't think that the New Mexico fans thought at the beginning of the year with Jason Eck, but hey, we're getting close to it. Washington State took care of Colorado State by a final of 20-3. The Rams are now 1-3 on the season. Hawaii went into Colorado Springs and beat Air Force last week, 44-35. That was a game that I had on my big three last week, and I also called for Hawaii to pull off the upset, and they were able to do it. San Diego State topped Northern Illinois out in DeKalb by a final of 6-3 in the battle of field goals. Speaking of field goals, Stanford holds off San Jose State 30-29 in a game that probably would have been won for San Jose State by a field goal. All right, on to this week's docket. We've got some really interesting ones. Friday Night Lights, you have New Mexico taking on San Jose State, 8 p.m. Mountain Time, 10 p.m. in the East Coast on Fox Sports 1. Colorado State also takes on San Diego State. That game's at 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time, 10:30 p.m. out in the East on CBS Sportsnet. On Saturday, we've got my 3 games of the week, all of them on Saturday. I'm going to start with the number 3 game I have at 5 p.m. Mountain Time, at 7 p.m. in the East Coast. It is UNLV taking on Wyoming on CBS Sportsnet. The Runnin' Rebs have a 4-0 record, while Wyoming comes into this game with a 2-2 record, having lost their last 2. UNLV has a high-flying offense. They're averaging 450 yards per game. Wyoming's defense, they were really, really stellar early in the season, but the last 2 contests, they've kind of struggled giving up points. They still only allow 20 points per game, but they gave up a ton last time out against Colorado by a final of 37-20. They lost that one. It'll be interesting to see if UNLV can keep their high-flying offense going in this one. I expect a little bit of a low-scoring game, but I do expect UNLV to go out to a 5-0 record, and I like UNLV winning this one 27-20. My number 2 game of the week is actually early in the day, 10 a.m. Mountain, 12 p.m. noon out in the East Coast. It is the battle for the Commander-in-Chief trophy as Air Force takes on Navy. The Falcons come into this game now 1-3, whereas Navy is 4-0 on the season. This game, by the way, is on the big CBS network. Navy has only given up 92 rushing yards this season at 16 points per game. It doesn't bode well for Air Force, especially an Air Force team that's having to throw the football a lot more because they're playing from behind. Blake Horvath is having an outstanding season, and I got a feeling if he goes off in this one, especially in front of a national audience, we could start talking about Blake Horvath maybe entering the Heisman talk. Who knows? I like Navy in this one, winning big 34-13. My game of the week happens in South Bend, Indiana. That's right, a Mountain West team goes to visit the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. This game is at 1:30 p.m. Mountain, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That Mountain West team are the 3-1 Boise State Broncos. And this game, of course, will be on NBC, Notre Dame's home for football. I don't really think we're going to have any defense in this one. I mean, Notre Dame is averaging 44 points per game this season. Boise State is averaging 38 points per game this season. Boise State is allowing 341 yards per game. Notre Dame is allowing 389 yards per game this year. I don't think we're going to see any defense. Maybe we will, because usually when you expect like high-flying offenses to air it out, the opposite happens. But you know what? I'm not going to call for it out. I'm going to call for a high-scoring affair. Unfortunately for the Broncos, I don't think they're going to be high-scoring enough. I like Notre Dame in this one, 44-37. Bronco fans can go ahead and at me on X later on. One other game is happening on Saturday night that did not make my top 3, but we are going to get to right now. The Fresno State Bulldogs return into action after a 1 game off. They're looking for their 5th consecutive victory as they host the Nevada Wolfpack. That game is at 8:30 p.m. Mountain, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday on CBS Sportsnet. Hope you enjoy this week's contest. And again, for the Mountain West Network, this is Adam. You can give me a follow on X at SSN New Mexico.
All right,
care,
there
everybody.
you go. New guy brought back. We got the Mountain West new this week, and also we're fixing to have another one new this week. Last year we had Joe Tillery bringing us the Big 12, and now we got a new guy. We're talking about Jordan Leon. He's going to be bringing us our Big 12 news and notes each and every week. Brought to you by, guess what? Another new sponsor. You better jump on now because TGFF Game Day's got sponsors lining up. And I'm talking about Dorsey Auto Sales in Anderson, South Carolina on Whitehall Road. Make sure you go by and see him. He will take care of you. I just bought me a brand new Chevy. So I'm telling you right now, the guy does a great job. He gives you the best deals. And Dorsey Auto Sales. That's right. Dorsey Auto Sales in Anderson, South Carolina on Whitehall Road, bringing us our Big 12 news and notes. Let's go to Jordan.
With Greenville Sports Media, we're going to be covering all things Big 12. Week 6, college football. Let's get right into it. Friday night, October 3rd, we got BYU playing at home in Salt Lake against West Virginia. No real reason that West Virginia is going to even be in this game. The spread's -19.5. Big news coming out of Salt Lake City, LJ Martin will not be playing in tonight's game. But even though LJ Martin's not playing, Bear Bachmeier has been playing very, very well, throwing the ball, passing the ball. So I don't really see any reason why the West Virginia Mountaineers will even be close in this game. Something of note, the one game that BYU played against I'll call it a real team, they almost lost last weekend against Colorado, 24-21. But I don't think that the West Virginia Mountaineers are anywhere near the caliber of Colorado. So with that being said, BYU is going to win by a million. Next game, we got the number 14th ranked Ohio State Cyclones heading on the road, going to play Cincinnati. Brendan Sorsby has been very, very good. The issue with the Cincinnati Bearcats is they don't have a lot to offer. Brendan Sorsby is the leading passer, of course. He's the leading rusher. And the leading receiver only has 273 yards, and that's Cyrus Allen. So as far as that, they don't offer a lot. So if you can block Cyrus Allen, which, breaking news, maybe not breaking news, Iowa State is without both of their cornerbacks for the rest of the season due to injury. So sneaky game. Iowa State heading into Cincinnati. It's a 9 a.m. start on the West Coast. If Brendan Sorsby can air out the ball, Cincinnati might have a chance. With that being said, I am picking Iowa State to win, even though they are the underdog. The line's currently sitting at Cincinnati -2.5. Favorites going at home, it's just a really, really fishy line. So with that, Iowa State goes in, gets the job done. People are going to continue to hate on the Big 12 if Iowa State doesn't win this game. Last game, another very, very sneaky game, even though the line is very, very favoriting of Texas Tech. They're going to Houston. Houston is one of the only other undefeated, unranked teams in the Big 12. They beat Colorado by 20. They shut out Stephen F. Austin. They beat a sneaky bad good Oregon State. It's still out. I don't really know if they're good or not. But snuck away with a win in Corvallis. So they come home. They got a night game, 7 p.m. start in Cincinnati versus number 11 Texas Tech. The Texas Tech needs to put them away. You can't let Cincinnati play with their food. You can't let Houston in this game. Texas Tech needs to be up by at least 21 at the half, and they need to just ride the QB play, ride the defense. The spread's only 11.5. You need to win by 21 plus. Everyone's been saying Texas Tech belongs in the top 10. Texas Tech belongs in the top 10. This is your opportunity to move to the top 10. You're ranked in number 11 right now. You have a very terrible game next week. You can't afford to have a quote unquote close game when you have so few meaningful games late in the Big 12. The only other real meaningful game that they're going to play this season is on the road at Arizona State. Other than that, you have home against Oklahoma State, on the road against a very piss-poor Kansas team, and at home against UCF, and then on the road again at another very piss-poor West Virginia team. You need to show who you are. You need to show why you have that number 11 next to your name. You need to make sure that the voters realize who they are. So Thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you all next week for Big 12.
All right,
Big
folks,
12
welcome back in. Thanks so much for Dorsey's Auto Sales sponsoring our Big 12 segment as well. New sponsors, new segments, new everything, Jay. So, but one thing that doesn't change is we are going to do our picks of the week. And that is always brought to us by our good friends over there at Cheerwine. Make sure you drink Cheerwine. Jay's about to pop a cold one. I think he's got something going on over there. So we are about to get super energized and super cheerified with Drink Cheerwine. So thanks so much to our good friends there at Cheerwine. So let's get to them, fellas. We got a ton of games. We're just going to go round robin like we always do. So we've got tons of new conferences this week, lots of HBCU information for us this week, and we've got some really good things. So trying to cover everybody and everywhere across the country. So really looking forward to kind of diving into these. We've got some really interesting ones that we've done some really good research on. So really looking forward to that. So the very first one that we're going to do this week is going to be our good friends at Florida A&M, and they are going to be hosting the Missouri Valley State University. So guys, let's let Jay take that one first. I'm going to let you see. Who do you got in that one?
FAMU.
I do too. Mark, you were making it 3 for 3?
Give me the Rattlers.
All right. I like it. So really good things. Trying to just spread it all around, spread the love. So really trying to give these universities a good shout out as well. So next up, we're going to do Pacific and New Hampshire. Mark, I'm going to let you take that one first.
Well, I'm going to go with Pacific on this one.
All right, Jay.
Give me New Hampshire in an upset.
I like Mark. I'm a Pacific guy on this one, so give me Pacific. Can't go wrong with that.
Somebody hasn't been reading injury reports.
Nope. I still like them. So I'm going with it. So next up, we're going to head down to South Carolina State and Savannah State. Jay, that's down in your neck of the woods, getting close to Georgia too. So I'm going to let you take that one first. Who are you liking this one?
First of all, Justin, we over here at TGFF Game Day, if you know some folks, as of right now, we're picking schools that you would never see on College Game Day. It just won't happen. We do it because we want to give everybody love. This is something that we take pride in, something that we're going to be doing a lot more of, not only on TGF Game Day, but also on greenvillesportsmedia.com. So make sure you follow us on greenvillesportsmedia.com. Check in. We're going to be having all kinds of stuff. We already are big in the Southern Conference and other conferences. So make sure you do that. As far as my pick on this one, give me South Carolina State in this particular matchup. I just think they got some better dogs over there. Roof, roof.
All right, Mark, who are you taking in this one?
I've had a chance to actually see South Carolina State up close when they played Wofford. And the fact is that they barely beat a struggling Wofford team who couldn't score a touchdown. Defensively, they are pretty good. I'm going to go to Savannah State on this one.
I am Jay likes the dogs over there, but I think I like the dogs from the state of Georgia better. And I mean dogs as in better football players. I'm going with Savannah State as well. Think better players make the plays. So Jimmy's and Joe's win you games. So I'm going to take them this week as well. We're going to have to see how this, plays out next week. So see if Jay's on his game with South Carolina State. So Jay, we're heading back to your way again this week. We've got East Tennessee State and Furman, so another SoCon matchup. So I'm going to let you take that one this week as well. See who you got.
Well, this is pretty much a battle for first place minus Mercer in this particular matchup. Cade McNamara, the quarterback for ETSU, has been pretty good this year, but not blowing people off the ball as far as his style of play. He has struggled quite a bit. Furman has had some great games, have been able to, their defense has just been Stone King. I'm telling you right now, folks, if you don't know this name, Stone King, get ready. He's going to be in an NFL because we've already got scouts at Furman looking at this guy. I'm telling you right now, their defense is playing very well. This is the one thing that has helped them this year become a top team again. And I just think that Trey Hennon is going to have a great game. Give me 3 touchdowns and 280 yards. He only missed it by 1 touchdown and 8 yards in the last game. I was barely there. I was almost there. Give it to me again this week. And this time they take out East Tennessee State University at home.
I like it. Mark, who are you taking in this one?
All right. So first of all, my friend, you mentioned Mercer, you mentioned ETSU, you mentioned Furman. Western Carolina has a guy named Teron Dickens that just came back. That guy's probably, I think he's probably one of the best players in college football. So, like I said, if they fix their penalties and things like that, I really think you need to put them in the running on that one. With that being said, ETSU, McNamara has not been playing as good as expected. They do have two solid quarterbacks though at ETSU. I don't think they're going to be afraid to rotate them in and out in this one. Furman, like I said, playing really, really good football as well. But since I cover Wofford, I don't think it would be good for me if my friends over there are watching for me to pick Furman. So I'm going with ETSU on this one.
Y'all, if y'all know me enough by now, y'all know I've been on the show long enough. Y'all know where my allegiances lie off the field, but I still can't pick. There's a transfer quarterback that came from a certain place about 20 miles, west of here, and I can't pick that guy for anything. So I don't care if it's Cade. I don't care if it's the kid from Chapel Hill. I can't pick them. I went with Trey last week, and I'm going with Trey again this week. So I'm taking Furman. I got to see them up close and personal as well at Furman Campbell. Got to see, as you mentioned, Jay, defense has been rock solid for them all year long. So I really like Furman in this one as well. Let's see if they can get it done and get that stranglehold. So on the first place. So next one, where, as we mentioned earlier in our show, we always give love to our veterans. So this one, we're going with Air Force and Navy. So Mark, I'm gonna let you take that one first this week.
Well, truthfully, man, Navy dominates this one each year. I don't think it's going to be any different. So, yeah, give me the midshipman on this one.
All right, Jay, you taking the midshipman or you going Air Force?
Off we go into the wild blue yonder, beating Navy by 3.
I'm sure my dad and my brother, if they watch this, are going to be mad because I come from an Air Force family. So I'm probably disowned if they actually watch this. Well, my dad's not; he's dead. But my brother, if he's watching this show, he's probably disowning me right now.
I'm going to say this. I come from the naval background. My grandfather was both in the Navy. My uncles were in the Navy. They were fighter pilots, but so it's kind of torn. You're fighter pilots for the Navy. But I'm still going to back the family. I'm backing Navy just because I really think that they're a better football team, too. So I think the midshipmen get it done this week. So give me Navy in that one, too. And then this one, when we looked at the schedule, Jay, this one looked not really that intriguing, and that was last year too. And then Vandy decided to make it intriguing last year, and I think it's going to be intriguing again. So we're going to be doing Vandy Bama round 2. So does the new quarterback there at Vanderbilt, are they still rocking and rolling, or does the tide continue to roll? So Jay, I'm going to let you start with us on that.
First of all, this is a battle for first place in the freaking Southeastern Conference. Vandy, come on, folks. Vandy, Vandy, the Commodores. And they're going to poop all over the Elephants. That's right. Give me Vandy in an upset over Bama, even though they're 5-0 and Bama's lost a game. Yes, right. Bama. Vandy over Bama. I picked this last year and got it right. I'm picking it this year, and I'm going to get it right. Give me Vandy.
I like it. Mark, who are you taking in this one?
All right, considering you did have to say Vandy like 17 times during that one segment, Diego Papia has definitely has played really, really good football. Vandy also is not just a one-man show, though. Clark Lee does have that defense playing really, really good as well. They also have some good weapons for Papia to go throw to. Their running game is really, really good. I really think Vandy's really good top to bottom. So give me Vandy. Vandy.
He's taking the smart guys down at Vandy, and Jay took the smart guys at Vandy, but I'm going to tell you who the real smart guy is, and it's this guy, because I've taken Bama. They're roll tide. They're rolling again. They're going to continue on. Ty Simpson played extremely high level last week. I really like how they're playing now. Give me Bama. I'm staying on the Bama train. I got run over by it week 1 because I didn't like them, but I'm on the Bama train. So give me the roll tide. this week, and we're gonna see who decides that. We're gonna see if I'm good or not. I'm gonna see if it's gonna be a really good game. I'm excited about that. So another really good one that we've got. So we're gonna go to Mark's territory. We're gonna do Illinois and Purdue. So Mark, I'm gonna let you take that one away. So who's getting that one done?
Well, really and truly, Purdue has been a bit of a surprising team this year. They've actually been playing a lot better than expected. Illinois has been very, very iffy. Like I said, they after getting beat up by Indiana, they came back and got a really, really big win against USC, which put them, back in the race as well for the Big Ten championship as well. Um, I'm going to go with Illinois on this one. I like Altmaier. I think they're gonna put it to Purdue on this one though.
Jay, who are you taking this one? Illini or Boilermakers?
Boilermakers.
I'm rolling with Mark. I think he knows the Big Ten really well. I'm following him. I like Illinois too in this one, so I like the Illini to get that done. So, and then Jay, that leaves us two games. One of which is got
Three.
shunned by game day last week. So we're gonna do three this week. We're gonna do Kansas UCF. That one's on right now. So you guys give your thoughts while this one's running. So Jay, I'll let you start.
Give me UCF over Kansas.
That's a bold pick. I like that. Mark, who are you taking?
I'm going with UCF also.
I'm going to make it the trifecta. Give me the Knights. So that takes us back to two other games left. One of them should be the game of the week, according to Game Day or some Miami fans, but who knows what the difference in those two are. But we're going to go Miami, Florida State, and then we're going to tell you guys why we're going to do our last one last. So, Mark, I'm going to let you take this. Miami's on the road. Florida State's coming off a loss. Is this the game that Mario Cristobal does his thing or not?
I mean, really and truly, let's look at it like this. Florida State lost to Virginia. Virginia's playing really good football. Florida State, are they really that good? Did they catch Bama off guard first game of the season? They hadn't really played anybody since then. Then they came up against a Virginia team who was playing really good football. So I don't know that I'm still super sold on Florida State right now. So I'm going to take Miami and Carson Beck. Mario Cristobal gets the win of this one.
I like it. Jay, who are you taking this one?
Give me Miami.
I am going to, as we talked about earlier in the show, the ACC is the all chaos conference. So I'm taking the Florida State Seminoles at home to beat Miami, and it's going to be Mario Cristobal's game that he does not miss out on. All right, last but not least, fellas, we've got a really, really good matchup. Jay has really gotten that relationship forged for us recently here at Greenville Sports Media. So we are going to do our next up game. We're going to do UVA, Wise, and Anderson. So, Mark, I'm going to let you take that one first. Who are you going to take in this game?
Well, I also used to go to Newberry College, who is kind of like a rival of Anderson. So I'm going to go with UVA Wise on this one, fellas.
I like it. Jay, who are you taking in this one?
Not so fast, Mr. Mark. That's right. Division II has a new powerhouse, and that name is the Anderson University Trojans. That's right. Trojan War, Trojan on. Number one, Mark. Give me Anderson with head coach Bobby Lamb leading that group all the way to the promised land in Division II. That's right. Give me, Mark, give me Anderson University.
I'm going to go with this. Are you guys not entertained by this at this point of the show? So I'm going to go with Jay as well. We're taking the Trojans in this one. So give me Anderson as well. So that wraps that up for us this week. As always, brought to us by Cheerwine. Make sure that if you are thirsty and you are needing some refreshment, make sure you grab an ice cold fresh Tier 1. And then last but not least, I really don't know about this one, but Jay, somewhere I heard at some point this week hunting season started. So
Yes.
I'm assuming that Bobby's been out there somewhere. So
I got word from the University of North Carolina that Uncle Bobby was seen in the woods outside of the stadium hunting, of all things.
Really?
I mean, he doesn't even have a license. He brought his library card. I mean, he don't even know what a library is.
Honestly, Jay, I didn't even know if he knew where Chapel Hill was. I mean, there's so many beautiful pine trees over there for him to get a hold of. So,
well, I heard he hitched a ride.
Well, Uncle Bobby, as always, he has been found and sighted in Chapel Hill. He is going to be telling us a couple picks this week, but that one's going to be our pick of the week from Uncle Bobby.
Lord, don't get us in trouble.
Yeah, please, Uncle Bobby, we just ask that you do not get us in trouble. We just want you to keep it civil, and we want you to keep it clean. So absolutely take it away, Uncle Bobby. That is brought to you by our good friends at the Point RV, Lake Hartwell. Make sure you check out all your resort needs at the Point RV, Lake Hartwell.
I'm afraid to look.
I'm afraid, Jay. But take it away, Uncle Bobby.
It's your old pal, Uncle Bobby, out here in the woods in North Carolina. That's right, Uncle Bobby's up here in North Carolina. I'm a-hunting. I'm a-looking everywhere. Where? Everybody wants to know what Uncle Bobby's hunting. I'm telling you right now. I'll tell you here in a minute. But before I do, I'm telling you who's also hunting. Them most winning them Clemson Tigers. They hunting them some Tar Heels. That's right, them little lambs. They're jumping up and down up on the mountain. Well, guess who's on top of the mountain? Dabo Swinney. And them Clemson Tigers, they got a whoop up on them Tar Heels out of North Carolina. And it don't matter who the head coach is. You heard me right. I'm telling you right now, Belichicky, you ain't got no choice. Dabo Swinney's the king of the ACC. I don't care what the record is. Now, you know what I'm hunting for? I'm hunting for some whitetail. Hey, Jordan Hudson, are you out there? And speaking of which, I want to tell you who else I'm going to pull for. Them Furman Paladins taking on East Tennessee State University. That's right. Oh, Clay Hendricks is gonna get a hold of East TSU and them Paladins and gonna go tearing it up. He's gonna be throwing for 350 yards. He's gonna run it for another 50 yards. He's gonna get 4 touchdowns. That's right, give me the Furman Paladins in an onslaught over East Tennessee State University. Go get 'em, Trey Hinton.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, Jay, I don't know. That's just a headed shame, shaking my head. Don't know really what to say about Uncle Bobby and our good friends from over at the Point RV. They may not even want to sponsor this segment anymore after that one, Jay. But
we have no control over Uncle Bobby, folks. We take a powder when it comes to him. We do not represent Uncle Bobby in any shape, form, or fashion at Greenville Sports Media.
No, Jay, I mean, we're fortunate enough to travel to so many places, and unfortunately, we just end up running into this dude. I mean, he's all over the Southeast region right now. So,
well, he said he was Mark's cousin, so I assumed he was a good guy.
No relation to me, my man.
I mean, he also said he's going hunting, so I mean, I thought he's just all over the Southeast.
That's how I know he's not my cousin, because I don't hunt. So
yeah. Well, he was doing it with a slingshot.
I mean, over at USC, they're very environmentally friendly, and we like that. So we're not gonna endorse what Bobby just did over there at Chapel Hill. So, well, folks, it is a very entertaining show. As always, make sure that you always come check us out prior to the other game day that's not real. Make sure you check us out before you go over there. Because as you guys can tell, we cover everybody in the Southeast and the nation. We cover HBCUs. We cover the small conferences. We cover D2. So if you want to be next on the growing train that is Greenville Sports Media, make sure you check us out on TGFF Game Day. So, guys, it's been fun. We hope you guys enjoy another great week of football. And we're going to be back and better than ever to see who's got their picks and where is Uncle Bobby. So make sure you tune in next week. Thanks a lot.
Back up for football game day. TGFF. Back up for football game day. TGFF. Back up for football game day. TGFF. Back up for football game day. You have tuned in to another episode of Thank God for Football, brought to you by the Fanboys, powered by Greenville Sports Media.